That's a really hard question. Well, who is Jessica? Well, Jessica is a pharmaceutical professional that happens to have part of a background in mental health. I went to school and got a degree in chemistry and in business. And now, I'm really just kind of writing books that empower people and serve to inspire others. The only thing is I'm still learning who I am. I can be happy, fun, and just like to have a really good time, be goofy and silly and things of that sort. But what I'm finding is in business, I'm a little bit more, serious and trying to learn the balance between the two. But looking at the Jessica growing up, it was totally different. The Jessica growing up dealt with a lot of abandonment issues and identity issues and, just self-defeating issues and just all types of brokenness. All types of brokenness, depression, I grew up dealing with a lot. I was born actually in Durham, North Carolina, and raised here for a little bit of my life. But that short period of time, I encountered so much in that short period of time. I observed my parents, who were addicted to drugs and they abused drugs. They also sold drugs. We bounced around from different homes and projects and even hotels. But that Jessica experienced so much, and as a little kid, not really knowing what to do with that. You're like, how is this purposed for me? Is this what my life is set to be? Is it really set to be full of ugliness, really? And so I actually remember sitting in a 4th grade class, and we were, I want to say in social studies or something, and my teacher was actually talking about Durham, and I had actually left Durham and moved to, Zebulon and Middlesex at the time. And I remember her saying, this is Durham, and they had all these nice pictures of Durham in it, and I was like, that ain't Durham. I lived in Durham, and that's not Durham. And what I realized then, now looking back at it, there was so much more to the world than what I was experiencing, right? And so that Jessica didn't know that then. And now when I look at, how far I've come, like just looking at the different places that I've lived, just remembering as a young girl where my grandmother lived here, and I remember we lived across the street from her at one point and we weren't close, and just different things. Like the Jessica now is able to forgive a lot quicker, right? We all have to still do some work on that, but I'm able to forgive a lot quicker. And I remember thinking back to a section in time where I had reached out to my grandmother. I was in that bitter period, and I kind of just wanted to call her and go off, And I want to say I was probably about 11, and that was my birthday. And so I called her, and I just kind of went, and I told her exactly how I felt, about how I felt she had treated me. And to my surprise, when I tell you I did that for like 2 years, that I would call her but this year when I called her, this particular year, she says to me, I'm so sorry. And I was 11, and I couldn't receive that I'm sorry, So I just hung up on her. And I didn't talk to her again. Well, later on, I would actually go to try to find her in my young adult life. And I came to the property, and there was no house. The whole house was gone. And so I realized one of the neighbors actually came out and saw me standing there, and she's like, "Can I help you?" And she told me she had passed, and I was about 3 years too late. And so that thing just kind of resonated with me, like, dang, I didn't even get to tell her, like, I accept your apology and your forgiveness. I give it to you. So she dying not knowing that I ever did accept what she, accepted. So I mean, yeah, Jessica is a woman, a young woman now, really just trying to change the people and the world around me, really through my testimony and through my experiences. The Misfits series is actually my baby, right? So it's the first of my life, like my memoirs. But not just that, it's, how I was able to kind of get my voice back, because I had lost it at some point. And just how God was able to bring me through doing that, and the experiences that I went through. We talked about the shame and things of that sort, but that's what Misfits 1 was, finding my voice, just who was Jessica, and it was okay to be me and have gone through those different things. And then, The Miracle Revealed Part 2, it just kind of dealt with me really starting to realize that, I had been for so long, even after God had delivered me and had been taking me through the healing and, had allowed me to reach success. I was still looking at other people and I was going, well, what about me? When is my chance gonna come, and what is it that I need to do different? And so what he really was showing me was, you're the miracle. You keep asking for a miracle. And if you just look at your life, you realize that you're the miracle, half of the things that I've gone through and been able to come out of, and not just survive, but overcome it, you don't get a lot of people that are even left in their right mind afterwards, And so that in itself, it was like, well, dang, if he never does anything else, I mean, he's already given me a miracle. And then realizing what to do with that, okay, well, what is it? Now that I know that I'm a miracle, what do you want me to do? So, like I said, Misfits is a series. So, I have book 1 and 2, but then I have a journal companion that, goes with that. And the journal companion, 31-day journey of revealing the miracles of you, it really is. It really helps you determine what your purpose is, as pertaining to how God has called you, right? And so a lot of times we get stuck and crossed up, with, well, what am I here for? That's great that we all have a purpose, but what is mine? And exactly what am I supposed to do with my story? Because we hear it all the time, right? Everybody has a story, and it's true. Everybody has a story. Like, there is no two stories that is going to be exactly alike. But what I learned myself through my experiences was, because of the uniqueness of all the different things I had gone through, it wasn't necessarily just for me, sure, it stretched me, it grew me up, and it matured me, but I've encountered so many people, and most of them are not even always young. I used to think that I was gonna be working with kids. And so I started out, businesses and things and nonprofits geared towards kids, thinking like that's what it is. And what I found is, just through normal conversation, like working relationships with people, that there were a lot of adults that were broken, like just broken. And I mean, professional, made up, 6-figure making, bad to the bone, makeup put together. And I'm talking to them, plain Jane, I feel like, and they're broken. And I was just like, Lord, really? And so it just it spoke to me that this book really helps those that are, adults even, like that are grown in their day-to-day lives. They're still dealing with the traumatic experiences that they've encountered and not been able to overcome them. And it's affecting their everyday life, And so I feel like that the series really is geared towards helping people pick up the pieces, being able to reflect back and go, yeah, I went through that. It was messy. It was ugly. Some of it was really, really bad, but I can find purpose in this, and my purpose is in this. It shows me who I'm here to help, and so I feel like that's what our stories should be about. Writing makes you really, you're one, you, the paper, the pen, it's real. And writing makes you realize, like, have I overcame this? Am I over it? And what happens is, I was talking to a friend of mine and I was just letting them know, like, it seems like for me, whenever God gives me that season to write, because I really thought it was going to be one book, and then it's turned into 3, because I, in my head, I had meant, okay, well, Lord, I'm going to share this, and then I'm done. and he didn't do that. And so in writing them, I really got it, like I told you before, I was exposed. And then on top of it, I felt like he would take me through the test again while I was writing the book, but at a different level, right? So when I wrote Finding My Voice, I was literally in the midst of finding my voice again, but at this stage in my life. And I had to go back and go, okay, where have I seen this before? And so that actually was what gave me the premises for book 1. Reliving this stuff, it's no joke, and it gets hard sometimes. I think even with this second book, the warfare, it's been kind of crazy, but at the same time, every time I finish writing it, it's just like birthing a baby. It's like the joy you have when you see it done and you realize, like, okay, it's finished. Like, it's finished. What he wants is done. And it's just like, this aha moment. So the books are actually for anyone that is dealing with brokenness, traumatic experiences, and want to overcome. So as I was saying earlier, I thought that just working with kids was going to be my thing. But what I've realized is that I've had people to want to, that are broken, that really need help, that are like 10 years plus my age, 10 to 12 years plus my age, but yet they're coming to me for help. I've also come in contact with a lot of men that are broken. And a lot of times it seems like we put a lot of focus on women, and women being broken, and I get it. And there are resources for women, but we need resources that are for the family, right? And so there are children that are broken, there are women that are broken, there are men that are broken. The difference is we tend to be a lot more vocal about ours. Women, you don't have to pull it out of us. You ask us what's wrong, we're gonna tell you, most of the time. Now with the guy, they're going to suppress it, and why would they not, right? The society that we live in right now is very judgmental. And so with the things that they are dealing with, it's like, who do I talk to? And where do I go? And where is it safe to share? Like, how do I share this and not get looked upon some crazy way? So brokenness, and it's not gender related at all. I really hope that when people read my books, whether it's the Misfits series or the STEM educational books, those that are empowered through foster care, I really hope that they can really look at their story, whatever that story is, and just see that story is for other people, right? A lot of times we think that we have to be at a certain place before we can help someone else. And so we shy away from helping anyone or serving or, just allowing ourselves to be used because we feel like we need to be healed first. And although that's great, it sounds great. In reality, I got a lot of my healing through the service of helping other people, right? And in doing that, God was just repairing it and he was fixing it, and of course with all the other things that we spoke about earlier, but it's that thing, I believe, that does it. And I just hope that if readers could get that, take my story and just use it as an example, right? Use it as an example to look at your own story and say, what is it that I can do to be impactful, even if it's just to the people that are right here in my family, right? Maybe right here on my street, right here in my school, right here in my department, and just make it personal to you, what your story is. I really desire that, at some point, and God willing, at some point, if he opens the door to, have the books in schools or have the books in, church Bible study sessions, have the church, the books used in counseling sessions, I would just really be humbled, just to be able to see, because I know the vision that I've seen for it. And I'm just like, I'm humbled, to see it on a movie screen. I just think, that's my desire for what people can get out of the books. Some of the projects that I'm working on right now really just consist of, some writing projects and some events that are coming up. One of the events that I have coming up is actually for the release of the Misfits series, right? So I released part 1 2 years ago, but the completion of those last 2 books will be unveiled in January. So what I decided to do, everybody does a book launch party. It gets old. It's like blah, 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 blah. That's great. But I wanted to really bring other authors together that also write on empowering, or inspirational stories, right? And give them a platform to be able to share their books, for people to kind of like, oh, this is a resource, for either my people, someone I know, let them come together as well. And we celebrate together. I also thought it would be a great idea to allow other people that have experienced brokenness or different traumatic experiences to be able to attend, right? To be able to hear firsthand testimony of what's in the book. So I really felt like it could be twofold where, I'm able to celebrate this book release, but at the same time, invite those in that need it to celebrate with me, and realize that, hey, maybe just through the testimony, they might not walk out with a book, but they're able to hear the testimony, and people overcome by the power of your testimony. So sometimes, people just need to be in the facility to hear what's going on. The event is Saturday, January 20th, 2018, a literary celebration of miracles. It will be at the Living Waters Christian Community Center here in Durham, North Carolina. I'm super excited for people to come out and join us. If you want more information, you can get it on Eventbrite.